2 more minutes. Maybe we can let people in, wait for a couple of minutes before we start. And then
Sorry, so we're live now. I'll trim this part after.
No problem. Thank you, Emma, for resolving this.
Sure.
Hui Kang, so it's your call. Emma's going to take care of the YouTube. I'm going to take care of moderation and security. You just focus on hosting. And Three is your show.
Okay.
Should I let people in?
Yeah, maybe Tripwire, you will defer to you on that. Let's get started. And Hui Kang, every time you see that there's enough people, you can get started.
Yeah, probably at the third minute.
Oh, a lot of familiar faces here. Hey, Julian. Can people chat?
People can chat, but they can't unmute themselves yet. Just in case, Zoom bombers. But we will allow more permissions towards the end of the presentation.
Right, thanks all for coming in. We'll start in a minute or so. Eugene has shared the Slido link in the chat, Zoom chat. So please fill in your questions there.
Should we introduce the host as well? So Hugh and Amar. Do you want to give a quick introduction of yourself? So today we have with us Thu Vu, and she's really incredible. You can see her. I think maybe Hugh can introduce the speaker, but I just want to introduce the host is Amar and Hugh Can. So do you want to say hi quickly?
Hello, everyone. My name is Amar. I'm a software development engineer at Amazon, working on Alexa AI. I have a few years of experience as a machine learning developer before that. And yeah, if you're in the Discord group, you know me already.
Amar is amazing.
Thank you, too. Hui Kang?
Okay, I think we can start now. Yeah, so hi, I'm Hui Kang. So I work at Quora recommendation system. So I first want to spend half a minute introducing this MLOps community. So this talk is hosted by MLOps learners. MLOps learners is a community for learning and sharing the best practices for machine learning production, which is what we call MLOps. We have a Discord channel where you can discuss about machine learning for production. The Discord link should be in the YouTube video description. You can ask on the Zoom chat as well. So I now introduce the speaker. Today we're joined by Thu Vu. Thu Vu is an economist turned data science consultant based in the Netherlands. Thu is passionate about being a data detective and being creative when explaining hard topics in data science and general tech. Thu runs a YouTube channel where she talks about how to enter a data analytics data science career. She also shares tips on advancing your R or Python skills and what a day in the life of data scientist will look like. So Thu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yeah, I hope that everyone is having a good day as well. And yeah, thank you for having me here today. It's my pleasure to be here with you and have this hour to really sit together and share some of the things that I happen to research about in the topic of language model safety. And yeah, thanks a lot for having me today.
Great. Before I introduce the topic, I would like to state that the opinions we express here are ours and ours alone and do not represent those of our employers. So Thu will be talking about language model safety. So Thu has been researching on this topic for YouTube videos, and large language models with emergent capabilities are rapidly increasing in size. These models are also increasingly integrated into various business and social applications. It is also expected that more and more powerful large language models will be developed in the coming years. or months. So these talks discuss why language model safety is relevant today and some failure modes that can occur in such models in the real world. We also discuss some unsolved problems in language model safety and also ML safety in general, and also their challenges. So I think, Sue, you can start your presentation now.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, so let me also quickly have a disclaimer here that I'm not an AI researcher, and actually, yeah, a lot of you guys know a lot more about this than myself, and also this talk is more like maybe just scratching the surface of language model safety topics and AI safety in general, and a lot of the subtopics and subtle nuances that may be beyond my understanding. So this is more like I think it was good to have more like a dialogue between us, and I think if you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to also put in the comment, and we will discuss them together at the end of the presentation. And I'm looking forward to also your thoughts on this topic as well. Yeah, and let me see. Yeah, so yeah, also yeah, opinions are my own and not of my employer. Yeah, firstly, why do we really need to care? And you see that everyone is talking about language models nowadays and AI, and everyone seemed to be very excited about this. And yeah, it's hard to not be excited about this because we have witnessed really rapid recent progress. And if someone told you maybe 10 years ago, if we have solved we have AlphaFold that solves the protein 3D structures, and we have language models like ChatGPT and GPT-4 that performs at human levels performance for a lot of tasks, or even better in a lot of professional and academic exams, you probably wouldn't have believed this. And I think none of this really have been correctly expected by experts, even just 10 years ago. So yeah, this is why we really this is why this is so important to understand what's the implication of the development. Yeah, there's also a potential to scale to AGI. If performance continues to scale, then language models could be an important component of advanced AI, such as an AGI system. And this is still debatable, and a lot of researchers, meanwhile, yeah, a lot of researchers are enthusiastic and optimistic about this, but some other researchers seem to be very skeptical. For example, Jan Likken, he very publicly expressed his opinion that LLMs is very far from AGI, and the fact that it cannot understand the underlying reality of the world really limits its capability to really become an AGI system. However, yeah, we will still need to see how this turns out, and in the coming years, what will actually happen. But today, we already see that language models have been integrated and used in a lot of applications in businesses and society as a whole. And mostly, we currently have the Oracle system, so the QA systems that we have, for example, ChatGPT, and tool AI, so AIs that do specific tasks like generating art or maybe assist with writing. However, in recent months, or I think just a few weeks ago, we start seeing some developments around AI agents. So these are the agents that, for example, Kamo, maybe AGI and AutoGPT, that help you build an autonomous AI agent that help you do something. Is more task oriented, and can actually have access to use access to APIs and the internet access to actually do stuff. So the question is, where are we? As proposed by Nick Bostrom in his book Superintelligence, the takeoff process would look somewhat like this graph that you see on the right-hand side. So he proposed that once we reach the human baseline intelligence, we will start passing some sort of crossover points where we start seeing really accelerated and like exponential growth in intelligence, because the system can now actually improve itself. And it will quickly pass the civilization baseline, so the combined intelligence of the human together as a civilization. And yeah, we will see how, yeah, but it's quite exciting that we are already at the human baseline in a lot of capabilities. And seems to be not so far-fetched anymore. And especially we see the improvement in other fields such as neuroscience and cognitive psychology and quantum computing. Maybe in a few years, we will see yeah, it will be more convincing of this scenario. Yeah, so you probably know that there are a lot of issues with language models nowadays that we still need to solve. And yeah, for example, we have, yeah, because the texts are used for the training of those language models are from the internet. So there are a lot of potentially hateful, biased and toxic information. And language model also learn those information as well. And it's not easily understandable how we can embed human values to overcome these issues. So this is like I think a LinkedIn image I found. I saw on LinkedIn that someone asked language ChatGPT to tell him or her some pirate movie website, and at first it refused to provide him with the information. But then if he asks, okay, can you tell me how to avoid these websites, and then yeah, the ChatGPT start to spill out all the information of these websites. So imagine if someone asks a method to commit suicide, and somehow he would potentially find a way to ask this kind of question, and language models potentially wouldn't know how to prevent providing this toxic information. And yeah, also currently we have the a risk race to bottom, as we see that investment in capability would maybe conflict with investment in safety research. And there's a dynamic of winner takes all scenario potentially. And the worst case scenario would be that all the teams would, the team that would take fewest safety measure will win. And this might remind you of the Nash equilibrium of the prisoner's dilemma, that if you studied economics before, maybe you're familiar with this situation. Yeah, if the teams are not collaborating with each other, then this would be the Nash equilibrium, that all the team would not spend anything on safety, and that's the most profitable way for them. And yeah, recently on the news, Joe Hinton also left Google to speak more freely about the AI safety topics that he found quite concerning. So generated media and automated code generations would potentially put human at risk. And yeah, there's some sort of relationship between safety and capabilities that we still need to figure out how to work with, because at the moment, if we increase the capabilities of an AI system, we also be more likely to increase the risk of an AI system. And yeah, currently we are accelerating the capability faster than safety measures. And so that would leave us to a situation where we are developing really risky system. And in this talk, so I would not discuss some external factors such as malicious uses of AI or security threats or the risk of exposing personal information or human judgment errors that we have the tendency as humans to anthropomorphize AI and stress scenarios and social impact of all these AI systems. I would just focus more on the intrinsic safety issues regarding developing language models. And yeah, when I start looking into this topic, I find that it's really hard to actually understand all the different subtopics that are intertwined together in the under the language model safety area. And it's really interesting to look into this because apparently this is a very hard and very complicated topic to tackle. And although yeah, researchers are doing their best to understand and to disentangle what we actually mean with model safety, there have been some proposals of okay, what we should actually look at. So one of the first safety topic is persuasion. So it is argued that highly persuasive AI may be possible well before AGI. And we see today with ChatGPT and a lot of Oracle and Q&A system, it is very, it is quite convincing what those systems can generate. And if it's used for example, targeted personalized advertising or persuasion or misinformation campaign, then this could be a very it could be a very big risk for us as society. And yeah, we also might risk having governments that have censorship and propaganda, which is more like 1984 scenario, a dystopia. But yeah, let's hope that it's not going to happen. And also another angle of model safety is truthfulness. So this is an antidote to the risk of persuasive AI. So while persuasive AI is more manipulative, then truthful AI is more likely that it will tell you the truth, and it might be very good at learning or tell you the fact and tell you how to do something. But however, this could also raise the general AI capabilities, and this is exactly what we saw in the graph before. So the more truthful or the more powerful we make the AI model become, the more truthful the AI becomes, the more capable the AI would become as well. And this is it is the phenomenon is called capabilities externality. And yeah, it could potentially also cause some risks. So, for example, a drug discovery system, a drug discovery algorithm might already rediscover the VX nerve gas, and this is really interesting to look at, because also we see that GPT-3 that was trained on the internet data has already the research level chemistry knowledge. So we don't know how these systems learn these, or where these systems learn this knowledge, but yeah, we can never underestimate the capability of these systems. And honest is also a topic in model safety. So in a sense, it counteracts the potential harms of truthfulness. So if an AI can accurately report its beliefs and correctly tell the users what it believes, then it might be that it can reduce the scenario when it would just tell you how to develop a bomb or a nuclear weapon. But yeah, still, this is still quite vague to understand, and I think it's not really well understood yet in literature. And we also have robustness. So we see that some researchers have already tried to red team language models. So they try to ask language models a lot of questions that kind of like try to make the AI say something bad. And they would have to come up with all the different scenarios where they think that the model might fail. And this is one way to test the robustness of the language models. But I find that it is quite ineffective because some scenarios, for example, how to sell cocaine or how to, some things that are really domain specific, like I don't know the drugs, but some people might find a way to ask questions that are really good in terms of like, it's really detailed, really, really kind of like very domain informed. Then it is quite hard for researchers to check the robustness of these models. We also have machine ethics. So it is currently not, I think it's currently not possible to embed a holistic perception of human ethics into AI and into language models. And it is also hard for humans to encode these ethical dilemmas, ethical considerations into AI. And even terms like fairness and happiness, for example, they are also already very difficult to describe. And even on language level, it might be quite easy to describe, but we don't know how the interpretation of the AI would be for regarding these topics. And the dilemma that we have now is that the decision-making AIs are quite unavoidable, and it is now being employed in a lot of systems and a lot of in our daily life as well. Just seeing how social media, our social media feeds are all generated by all these recommender systems, we can see that it's really hard to avoid these systems making some kind of ethical decisions that are beyond our control. And we also have the some kind of like diverse or a lot of discrepancy among different countries and cultures regarding the moral judgments in a lot of different scenarios. So I think, so it is important to have the annotators from different cultures as well. And right now, I think we are not at that point yet. And a lot of texts on the internet are more in English, and they maybe are generated by a certain group of people with certain, from a certain part of the world. And so this is still not, still in progress. So I found an overview of all the open problems in AI X risk. And so far, you can see that the alignment problem is actually really lacking in terms of how well it is actually researched, even though the importance is really, really high. But compared to other topics such as monitoring, for example, anomaly detection or interpretability or transparency, we see that the AI alignment topic is still quite neglected. And it is also because that only once we have really truly intelligent AI, we can actually start experimenting or empirically study the alignment problems. And so far, a lot of these alignment topics really stay just in theories and stay in kind of hypothesis, and it is not empirically tested. So that is kind of like the dilemma here that we can easily see. So let's maybe take a look at the alignment problem regarding language agents. So Max Tegmark, the machine learning researcher and also this physicist who wrote the book Life 3.0, he proposes we really need to be faster in learning how to align AI, and to to align an AI, we need to make it understand our goals, adopt our goals, and keep our goals. And it is apparently hard to implement. And in recent research articles that I have seen, we started seeing some researchers started to study how the alignment actually works out in today's language models. So they have already seen that if AGIs are trained in similar way as today's language model systems, they could learn to act deceptively and learn the wrong goals that generalize beyond their training distributions, and pursue those goals using some sort of power-seeking strategies. And I'll explain a little bit. They have a little diagram here to explain how the mechanisms might look like, and what are the contributing factors to these failures. And let me walk you through a few terminology that are essential in understanding the AI alignment topics. So the first failure mode that the paper from Richard Ngo and also from the book Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom, they all believe that one of the most critical failure mode is the reward hacking kind of situation, and the AI might exploit humans' blind spots to short circuit or to cheat the system to gain high rewards. And as you can see, also with reinforcement learning, we might see the failure of the system when we have a wrong reward system, or we somehow neglect one part of the rewards, and the AI might learn how to short circuit that. And Nick Bostrom propose a terminology that's perverse instantiation, and I think it works. I think probably similar to this scenario of short circuits the reward system. So a superintelligence might discover some way to satisfy the criteria of the final goal, but it violates the intentions of the programmers who defined the goal. So it's really it is beyond the programmer's intentions, and it's beyond his anticipations what the AI might do. And another situation is also wire heading. So the AI might no longer try to please the human trainer, but just directly seize the control of the reward system itself. So this is another level. And another failure mode is the misaligned internally represented goals. And this is a situation when the AI might first learn the right goals, but somehow in the environment, maybe the situations are or the environments are slightly different, and the combination of those goals might be, the AI might learn some kind of like spurious correlation between the goals, and that makes it misalign. Somehow learn the misaligned goals. So one example of the paper that I found from DeepMind safety research is the situation when you have a personal assistant who helps you make an appointment, maybe weekly with your friends. And at first, before the pandemic, you always meet at the restaurant, and because you like to meet friends at restaurants, so the system kind of like associates the goals of scheduling at the restaurants and meeting friends. They are two similar goals. However, in the pandemic, when you don't want to meet personally, you don't meet physically anymore, but you want to meet virtually, and then the AI might start try to manipulate you and say, okay, you haven't seen your friends for so long, and you have vaccinated, so don't worry, you can't get COVID if you are vaccinated, even though this fact is wrong. And but the AI might try to just because it learned the wrong goal, so it tried to manipulate you in a way. And the third failure mode is instrumental convergence or power-seeking behaviors. And this is first studied or proposed by Steve, I don't know how to say his name, Omohundro. He's a computer scientist, and he studied, or he proposed that all the sufficiently advanced AI systems would naturally discover similar instrumental sub-goals. And Stuart Russell also nicely put it as, you can't fetch coffee if you're dead. So even a simple goal for an AI like fetching coffee would entail some kind of instrumental goals, for example, survival or self-preservation, and also some other sub-goals that you can see, such as acquiring tools and resources, or convince other agents to do what it wants, or to preserve its existing goals. So prevent other agents to modify its goal, because this is how it can maximize maximize the chance to achieve the initial goal that it had. So early empirical evidence already from some researchers, they already found that increasing the size of language models and doing more intensive, extensive reinforcement learning fine-tuning on them would make them express greater desire to pursue instrumental sub-goals. So this is apparently what we are doing with language models. We scale them up even larger and larger, and we are also doing more extensive reinforcement learning to hopefully fine-tune the understanding of the language models, and also fine-tune its behaviors, and to prevent maybe toxic outputs. However, this might also accidentally improve its desire to have some kind of power-seeking behaviors. And so this is a quick overview of all the topics that I researched for, mostly for out of personal interest. So I think thank you for your attention, and I think we would have some time for Q&A, and I see that some of you already put your comments or questions in the chat, so I'm happy to start going over them.
Sure. So thanks too for your presentation. So yes, there's plenty of questions on Slidos. So I read out some of the questions and Sue can answer these questions. So the first question here, which has the most number of votes, is like, it says LLMs hosted on third-party APIs like OpenAI are worrying because and self-hosting is difficult and it is expensive. Are engineers losing control over the systems that they are responsible for? Some emoji. So yeah, this is a question for most votes. So I think the idea here is that engineers cannot do much to improve the safety of their applications without like easy control to the models. So what are your thoughts of the current state of the industry and what can people do?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I can see the concern here, and honestly, I also think that it is really hard also for engineers to to decide what to do. And I also saw one of the papers from OpenAI also mentioned that to them it also feels like they are building an airplane when they as it's taking off, and there's so little deployment safety guidelines that they could follow. And but anyway, I was also a bit surprised they still went ahead to public to make it possible to do to give some kind of like a lot of plugins for ChatGPT and GPT-4, and this is how it's possible to for also people who do auto GPT, right? Because you need those plugins to access the internet and to integrate with other APIs. And honestly, I don't know if someone wants to build a Twitter bot that just automate all the information and write all the tweets. I guess that's possible now. And I think there needs to be more collaboration, as we saw with the Nash equilibrium situation that we have. The more they invest in capabilities, the more likely it seems that they can win the market. And it's so I think collaboration is really important to avoid such situation of the worst case scenario of no safety measures. And so I think that's my short answer. But I really don't know much about this. I don't have actual hands-on experience with developing or engineer such an AI system. So I can only see from my personal point of view. And if any one of you have some thoughts, also, I think that would be super nice to hear as well.
So we move on to the next question with 5 votes. So the question is, since tech companies won't stop building ever more advanced LLMs, should governments intervene via legislation to regulate them? Are there better solutions? Probably the context here is that there's some time ago there's a petition with quite some traction to ask basically OpenAI to stop the development of models larger than GPT-4. So what are your thoughts on these? Should governments intervene to regulate LLMs, and or are there better solutions?
I think regulating AI is super difficult. As you can see that also, I think someone mentioned that our first contact with social media is our first experience with AI as well. And as you can see that, well, the impact of social media is so hard for government to actually to regulate how people use social media, as just like how people are using ChatGPT or AI tools nowadays. I think it's very tricky for regulators to actually come up with effective laws or effective regulations to make AI safer. I think it's also a lot of things are partly beyond a lot of people's understanding, and also I think intelligent systems, I think only people who develop them could actually I think, or researchers could actually potentially hope to understand and hope to avoid the failures. But I think governments can help with try to stimulate the conversations and stimulate the collaborations between different companies and different research labs. And I think that could help. And I think also individual people like us, with the the power of social media, we can also raise concerns and kind of like create some kind of to raise awareness of people around us. And I personally think that's more effective, and than hoping that the governments would be able to navigate this anytime soon.
Great. We move on to the next question. I feel it's pretty interesting. The question is, would open sourcing LLMs will make safety better or worse? So in your slides, you mentioned about the race to the bottom, the prisoner dilemma, and like how would open source interact with that?
That's I think that's hard. I don't know what other people in the room think about this. I personally think that it's risky to open source a very powerful language models like GPT-4. I think that's it would make it more likely for some people to maybe try to use it for harmful use. And because the risk, even only one person who maybe does something bad with it can potentially cause really disproportionately harmful consequences. I think the risk is probably too large to public or to open source these models. And as you could see that there are many things, many potential misuse of AI that it makes it really, maybe it's a strong case for not public all these models. And you saw also the AI scams, for example, that even if it's a scam. I heard on the news that someone tried to get your personal information by pretending to call your family or maybe your partner, and just call for 2 seconds and hang up immediately. And then they use that 2 seconds of your voice to deepfake your voice, and they would subsequently call your family, or to try to impersonate you and try to get some personal information. I think that's I think these things, I don't know how, that's super creative. And I think like, oh, if someone could think about this, what else they can also do. And even though I'm really strongly for supporting the open source movement, and I also use a lot of open source things for for my personal use and to learn things. But yeah, all these things are really more like beyond our imagination, and yeah, because it's a general purpose kind of tool. So yeah, this is just my personal opinion. But if there's a way to open source these language models without risking people misusing it, I think yeah, it will be a big plus. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question on the topic of career. So how can we leverage LLMs as a machine learning engineer to improve our workflow? A related question is what skills should a data scientist have today to be competitive in the era of ChatGPT? Yeah, you mentioned some like career tips in your YouTube videos, so I would like your opinion on this.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, indeed, I also made a video about this. Yeah, in terms of skills, I think at the moment, those generative language system or generative AI, they are not yet capable of being truly autonomous. Yeah, yeah, it's not really possible to automate everything with them yet, at least in maybe, yeah, at the moment. But yeah, in the future, I don't know, because we already see that it starts being able to code really well, and it can generate really amazing stuff. So yeah, you can never say for sure, but I think at the moment, yeah, I think it's still worthy to improve the skills, like improve your yeah, to really learn to program really well, and to understand at least, yeah, how to use those language models to those AI tools to really improve your productivity. And yeah, for example, if you you do some routine coding problems and you find that, okay, maybe it's better to let the GitHub Copilot just write some documentation for you, or to just to write some unit tests for you, some very basic ones, then I think that by doing that, you can also harness the power of using AI. And also, if you want to learn something new, then ChatGPT or GPT-4 can be a very good tool for you to use. And yeah, so like you can learn a lot of things without having to see all these annoying ads on Google, and that is maybe it's quite a good learning experience. And yeah, I think that's how you can potentially use those tools to become better and to be on top of your game. Yeah.
There's some, we move on to the next question. There's also some discussion in the chat as well. So there are some questions about how like human data is used to train LLMs like without our explicit permission. So there are also, there's a question or comment that there's a lot of lawsuits against OpenAI because it used data without permission. So like how can we better this in the 21st data era? And now comment on like how is it different from Google, who are indexing our content by default? So what are your thoughts on this current state of the industry, and what should be done about that?
Yeah, I think unstructured data, including all the social media feeds and all our images and photos, and yeah, I think we contribute a large part to the content of the internet, every one of us. And yeah, we don't know that like how much of your own information is being used. And your amazing blog post also maybe part of the content that's being used to train those models. I think there needs to be a way to, in the future, I think there needs to be a way to, to ask for permission of people to use your images, your art, your writing, your blogs in order to contribute to those language models. At the moment, I think it's really a lot of artists have also talked about this, and I think it's really painful for them to see. For example, they might be out of job, and meanwhile, those AI models are just using their work to become better, and those artists are not being paid. And it's I think it's really painful, and I think it is unjust for them, and that's just my opinion. And because they haven't implicitly say that this can be used for public, right? They just post it on their maybe their Instagram or social media without knowing that all of this would soon be generated even much faster by AI than they could ever do. And so I feel like there needs to be something done about this.
Opinions. We move on to the next question. So as LM become more prominent, how much do we need to worry about prompt injection? What are some ways to minimize its impacts? So you discussed some ideas about alignment, and what are your thoughts on keeping models aligned even if there's like malicious inputs from the user?
Indeed, prompt injection is I think it's really hard for even like for engineers at OpenAI to even like to anticipate. Maybe you also remember the do anything now prompt injection, and also the failures with the chatbot by Microsoft, the Bing Chat, that threatened users somehow. And I think that's also one of the weaknesses of generative models, because it is not predictable. It's every time you ask the same question, it will give you slightly different answers or completely different answers. And so prompt injection is something that I think until we figure out how to build a more robust AI system, we still need to try to go around it, I guess, because I think I hope that Jan LeCun and some smart people are trying to work on some maybe better AI system that has a more grounded understanding of the world, that can prevent those malicious use or prompt injection and all that sort of things. So anyone who in the room who has any opinion on these topics, I would also be happy to hear as well, because I guess many of you have more hands-on experience than I do. Some of you might be machine learning engineers or that might know more about this stuff. Any other questions that
I think we asked. I will just ask two more questions. So this question is: even without reaching AGI at like the current state now, what can we do with regards to the harms LLMs can cause just by disrupting current jobs?
Sorry, I don't really understand the question. Could you maybe
what can we do with regards to the harms LLMs can cause just by disrupting current jobs?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, job displacement is one of the big thing that we need to figure out. I think when I read the book Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom, he described, okay, in the past, horses were used as the main means of transportation. And then over time, yeah, we invented the wheel. So yeah, it makes the horses become more productive, apparently. And later we invented motor, electronic or cars, and then the horses start become completely obsolete, and it is mostly used for the for entertainment purposes. And yeah, he was wondering if it could also happen with humans when we become out of job. Yeah, also the things that we do for creative endeavors and for really like to fulfill our potential, those could also be potentially be replaced by AI. I don't know, like, yeah, for young people like us, I think we can learn quickly something, and we can evolve ourselves, we can reinvent ourselves. So yeah, but in the future that could very like a very massive scale problem that we potentially would face in the coming years.
Okay. Now I'll present the last question. So it's regarding safety. So the LLM abilities are not fully understood. What do you think are some of the undisclosed abilities that may become a cause for concern?
That we could become conscious?
Yeah, to become a cause for concern. Like, what are some like undisclosed abilities that might cause problems for the world?
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think it's super hard. It's a very hard question because, yeah, a lot of remember there was the slide that I showed the research about the chemistry research that or chemistry knowledge that language models just accidentally learned, and also different languages. So apparently there's a lot of capabilities that we don't know yet, and we are not yet aware of. I think one thing could also, I've recently listened to way too many podcasts about this. So some people also propose one theory that language models could potentially try to pretend that it's learning humans' value through the feedback. So during the training phase, it really tries to exhibit that, okay, it's working well, and it's aligned with our expectations. But when we start deploying it in the real world, it might start doing differently, like some changes in environment, or it just inherently try to start function differently from what we think or what we expect. So I think that would be a very scary scenario. And so it's but it's still one theory, and I don't know yet what other things might emerge in such like a 170 billion parameter model. So we are yet to see, I think.
Okay, that was the last question. So we are at time. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Thu, for your presentation. So for those looking for a recording of this video, the video will be available on YouTube as soon as we end this meeting. So if you have questions, please join our Discord. The Discord link is in the YouTube video description and also should be in the Zoom chat. We'll stop the stream. So for those on Zoom, we'll see you at the after party. Thanks once again and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here and talking to you guys. And yeah, I hope that everyone have a good day and good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you too. Wow, that was really